Your dog has never once thought of you as a person, not in the way you think of yourself, not as a human being with a job, a history, a complicated inner life. None of that registers. None of that is part of how they understand you. And yet, they would follow you into a burning building. They track your emotional state more accurately than most people in your life do. They reorganize their entire nervous system around your presence. They grieve when you are gone and reset completely when you return. So if they do not see you as human, what exactly do they see? Because the answer to that question is one of the most fascinating things behavioral science has uncovered about the dog-human relationship, and it changes everything about how you understand the animal living in your home. Not a person, a center of gravity. Here is where we need to start, because the question is not simply, do dogs know we are human? The deeper question is, does that category mean anything to them at all? Research from the Dog Cognition Lab at the University of Portsmouth and parallel work coming out of Eötvös Loránd University in Budapest has consistently shown that dogs process humans as a distinct social category. They treat us differently from other dogs, differently from other animals, differently from any other thing in their environment. But, and this is the critical piece, the category they place us in is not human. It is not a biological classification. It is a relational one. Your dog does not file you under human being. They file you under something far more specific, something that, in the architecture of their social brain, is the most important category that exists. You are their attachment figure, their safe base, the organism around which their entire emotional and behavioral world is organized, not a person, a center of gravity. The bond attachment theory, originally developed to understand the bond between human infants and caregivers, has been rigorously applied to the dog-human relationship over the past 2 decades, and the findings are remarkable. Dogs display the same attachment behaviors toward their primary human that human infants display toward their primary caregiver. They use their person as a safe base from which to explore unfamiliar environments. They return to their person when stressed or threatened. They show measurably higher distress when separated from their person than from other familiar humans. They seek proximity and contact specifically with their person during times of uncertainty. A 2013 study published in PLOS One placed dogs in a situation mirroring the classic infant strange situation protocol: a familiar human, a stranger, and the owner. Dogs in distress sought comfort from their owner specifically, not from any familiar human, not from the person who fed them that day, from the specific individual they had formed a primary bond with. What this tells us is that your dog's relationship with you is not generalized affection for humans. It is a specific, individual, deeply personal bond directed at you as a unique being in their world. They know you in a way they know nobody else. They have built an internal model of you, your scent, your voice, your emotional patterns, your behavioral rhythms that is more detailed and more continuously updated than the model they hold of any other living thing. More than other dogs. Here is something that surprises most people. Given the choice between interacting with an unfamiliar dog and interacting with their owner, most dogs choose their owner. This runs against the intuitive assumption that dogs are fundamentally dog-oriented social animals who merely tolerate humans. The research says something more interesting. A study by Dr. Attila Andix at Eötvös Loránd University used fMRI scanning to examine how dog brains respond to different stimuli: human voices, dog voices, familiar humans, unfamiliar humans. The findings showed that the dog brain has a dedicated region for processing social information from humans, a region that responds more strongly to human vocal and emotional cues than comparable regions in the human brain respond to dog cues. Dogs have, through 15,000 years of coevolution, developed neural architecture specifically tuned to us. They did not just learn to live with humans. They developed brains that are partly built around reading, tracking, and responding to human beings. You are not just a person they happen to live with. You are a species their brain evolved to understand. And within that species, you, specifically, are the individual their brain is most specialized to track. Your nervous system is theirs. This is the piece that carries the most weight for daily life, and it is the one most owners have never consciously considered. Dogs do not regulate their emotional state independently the way adult humans attempt to. They are what developmental psychologists call co-regulators. Their nervous system stabilizes or destabilizes in direct response to the nervous system of their attachment figure. When you are calm, your dog's cortisol drops. When you are anxious, theirs rises, often before you have done anything observable. observable simply from the micro changes in your scent, your breathing, your posture. When you leave, their stress hormones spike. When you return, oxytocin surges in both of you simultaneously. Your emotional state is not just noticed by your dog, it is physiologically mirrored in them. They are running a continuous, real-time biological synchronization with you that most humans do not maintain with any other human being in their lives. This is what you are to them at the neurological level, not a companion, not a friend in the way we use that word, a co-regulatory anchor, the organism whose state determines their state, the presence that makes their nervous system possible to live in. Safety, take everything we have covered, the attachment figure, the neural architecture, the emotional co-regulation, and reduce it to its most essential form. You are safety, not safety as an abstract concept, safety as a felt, embodied, moment-to-moment experience. The presence of you in a space changes what that space is for your dog. Without you, it is an environment to be monitored. With you, it is home. Behavior, as John Bradshaw describes this function, as the dog's social anchor, the specific individual whose presence allows the dog's threat detection system to stand down, whose absence activates it immediately, whose return resolves it completely. This is why your dog greets you the way they do after any absence, even 20 minutes. It is not disproportionate excitement. It is the nervous system resolving a period of incomplete safety. You walk back in, and the world recalibrated around that fact. This is also why the quality of your relationship with your dog matters far beyond affection. A dog whose safety anchor is unpredictable, whose person is emotionally volatile, inconsistent, or frequently unavailable, is a dog living in chronic partial threat activation. Not because anything dangerous is happening, because the thing that makes safety possible is unreliable. You do not have to be perfect. You have to be consistent, predictable, present in the way that matters, not just physically, but emotionally available. That is what safety means to them. What this changes when you understand what you actually are to your dog, not a human they live with, but an attachment figure, an emotional regulator, a co-evolutionary partner, the living definition of safety in their world. It changes the texture of the ordinary moments. The way you leave in the morning is not neutral. It is a signal to their nervous system about what the next several hours will feel like. The way you come home is not just a greeting. It is the resolution of an emotional arc that began the moment you walked out. The way you sit with them in the evening, calm, present, not rushed, is not just relaxing for you. It is actively regulating for them at a biological level. The way you speak to them, move around them, respond to their signals. All of this is continuously read, cataloged, and integrated into the model they have built of you. The most detailed, most continuously updated model they hold of anything in their world. Your dog does not see you as human. They see you as something more specific than that, more personal than that, more essential than that. They see you as the thing their entire world is organized around, and they have been showing you that every single day. If this changed how you see your dog even slightly, that is the whole point of this channel. Drop a comment. I read every single one. Subscribe, new video every week. See you next time.